She said she's. In person, but she's there.
Gemma, can you hear us?
Yep, A-okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, great. So we have everybody here and then Gemma online, and that's the only person online currently. Okay, that way there's no public known at this point. They could.
They are welcome to be here.
Yeah.
But no one has chimed in, no. We don't need to wait for anything.
Okay, so this is the deliberations, and we just went through this a couple of days.
Call the meeting to order.
Call the meeting to order. 4:30 meeting, community development advisory for deliberations of the planning year 49 funding.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. So we just went through the deliberations on the COVID recapture money. So we sort of have the process down, how we give them the grade and how that works. So nobody has any questions. We can head right into that. Or talking about giving some grades. Everybody should have a list of the different items on there. And if we could, you have that?
It's coming for you.
Okay. So if we can put that up on the screen.
Oh, can you see that, Gemma?
Okay, and if we go to the very top, CD admin.
Yes, I can.
Okay. CD admin. And anticipated total, and okay, and the 161, 255.20 is the 20% of the 806,000. Okay, and then 27 return loan. Total projected admin expenditures 176. Okay, so going on down, let's just talk about the ones that we know are not eligible for funding. I think the first one is the Three Rivers Community College project is not eligible, so I guess, yeah, we can keep that highlighted and maybe put a 0 there for when we petition or whatever.
We've highlighted it red. That work?
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. That's great. And
Thermos owners.
yep, the parking lot, that can do the same thing. Okay, that makes it a little bit easier.
And futures were just really kind of,
Yeah, what,
An ineligible project at this point
it's ineligible,
because of the amount of individuals they serve.
right?
When
Yeah,
they told us that it was
3 out of
3 of
Yeah.
20 something,
right, yeah,
that only comes out to 20%.
so
Okay.
that's no longer available either. Okay, so that makes it quite a bit easier. Quite a bit easier. And so does anybody have the easiest way to start, if there are anybody that has a C grade of an organization that we're not fund Mark?
the UPW tax.
Okay, you're saying a C for the whole project?
I'm saying, a C plus B minus.
So, okay, that makes sense. Yep. That makes sense. And you heard Pat when he was talking about if we do something, they would prefer to keep
South B
South
Street
B would be
primarily.
the priority above everything else. that's in
Right,
that plan.
right.
So, and that's, so that's good to know, just in
It
case.
just, and it always goes back, not to blame the issue, but also it always goes back to putting the balances work.
Yeah, right.
Don't
right.
insult me by not,
Not doing an accurate study.
I don't care if it's accurate, as long as it's ballpark, and that's not ballpark.
Right,
That's not even in the same, that's not the same city, it might not even be in the same state.
yeah.
And for that reason
Okay.
too, that's why I give it a B grade too.
So you want to be for,
Hatfield. Yeah, the estimated was, I feel like it's not accurate.
okay,
I give it a name.
and Angela,
You landed on the seat.
see, okay.
Okay.
And Gemma, for the DPW Tapville sidewalks, do you have a grade?
Sure. So I would actually, I would move mine up from where it was last time. So I would say basically B or B minus because I did appreciate getting the additional information. I think that they really looked into that. I think that they really responded to, listened to what we were saying and really responded and came back, addressing, I think, a lot of the concerns, which I think was great. I think the only thing that was really missing was if they were prepared to tailor it down to some specific target area sidewalks rather than just the whole general neighborhood that the whole application invents initially, that I would have appreciated a cost associated with that specific street. I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but it's evident in the additional information that they submitted. So without a cost, it's very hard for me to say, anything. I mean, I don't know if they could start it right away. I don't know if they could complete it right away. And I don't know what cost would be associated with that. That would have helped certainly me. So, but I do want to, just for the record, I really appreciate them getting back to us and I think that the additional information that was supplied that Sydney, thank you, Sydney, sent out earlier was, I really appreciated it. It really kind of addressed a lot of our concerns, I felt. So B.
Yeah, okay. Okay, sounds good. And I had a B minus myself, just, because it's, it's a big project, maybe fund some of it, but not the whole thing. And Larry.
Yeah, you can take mine to a B minus. That sounds good.
Okay. And Larry. C. The C. Okay. Okay, any other C's?
Leftist cycle.
What's
Isn't
that?
it the leftist cycle? Lefty.
Okay,
It just feel like, how serious are they about this? They haven't showed up for 2 meetings, they don't return Sydney's call, correspondence, nothing. They just leave. I mean, I have a nonprofit myself, and I have to make sure that I show up for meetings somewhere.
yeah,
It seems like it's a great cause, but I just feel like it's very unprofessional and disrespectful. Yeah. To that too.
In their 3 years into their program, and will it succeed? The bicycle repair person that they want to hire isn't just working for Norwich.
I don't want it to come off like they were snubbing us. I didn't get that impression,
Yeah.
but more that perhaps the capacity is not there yet to
Yeah.
administer our funding in a way that we need them to. And so certainly coaching in future years of how we could improve their initial ask and support capacity building in that way would be a good use of our office's time.
I agree. And along with
I would
that,
agree with that too.
okay. Okay, so, Mark, you want to do, what grade you want to give them?
See,
C. And
solid.
And Larry? For the lefty cycles, bicycles, lefty cycles.
Number 9, Larry.
And I had C. What?
I guess she could be on
Yeah, C on that one, okay. Okay, and yeah, one of my concerns on that is it's mainly for addiction recovery. And it sounds, that's what he's doing this for, and I don't know, it's a recreational opportunity for people going through addiction recovery, but I don't know if it's part of their recovery. If is this really a documented thing that could really help them in their recovery?
I've heard the similar program for New Brain, and there's a lot of questions. To connect dots.
Yeah. Okay, that's where I was. What effect or impact would it
Yeah, I
have?
mentioned it once.
I think it's fairly reasonable to assume that addiction can lead to many of the afflictions, homelessness or loss of job, loss of income, or at least reduced income, whatnot, that it can be a very powerful thing. I really, I do appreciate, Lefty Cycle's intent, what they seem, which is providing, essentially, it seems like a mentor service, and not just giving away free bicycles, but just saying, hey, ride with me, and I can help you through your recovery and give you a positive sort of focus, which would be riding and get healthy, and and I think that's great. I would like to see them maybe for future applications, or just future sort of project considerations. I would like to see them try to tie in perhaps a little bit more with some local facilities and programs that are already sort of in existence, so it's a little bit more sort of cohesive. Maybe if they could work with them and say, hey, I'm available, and make sure that if they do have an office in Norwich, that make sure that they have sort of like hours that are visible and that they honor, so that people can say, hey, I know that if I meet with so and so every Tuesday at 9 a.m. or whatnot, I know that I'm going to have a mentor to ride with, and not just sort of leave it out there. I mean, it may just be a lack of just as you pointed out earlier, Sydney, just a lack of resources and limited staff right now, so that they can only do so much. But it would be great if it was something that someone could rely on, what they are providing. So not just only the bicycle, but also then the service that comes with it, which would be the mentoring, the physical sort of mentoring that would come with it. Because I think that would be really important, because many people are not going to wait for that once every 6 months kind of thing, and I'll run with you. So I would just encourage if they could kind of go in that direction. But I like where they're going, I mean, I like it. But I would agree with you with the application right now, probably a C, but I think it's an interesting project.
If they were to construct, like you said, Gemma, an actual service, a program specifically that their organization houses, rather than the ask kind of seems like funding to support the organization in general. If it was more focused, if they partnered with an agency that was doing the income screening or referring over to handle that capacity, that they wouldn't even have to do that piece, that would be another piece.
Yep, exactly, Sydney. They don't have to carry everything themselves. Other organizations that are already in existence that have things set up can do a lot of this for them if they can just partner with them and then be present when they say they're going to be. You know what I mean?
They sound
And
like.
I think that would be a stronger application, and particularly if the organization they're partnering with services, Norwich residents, then they're going to have a strong application when they come back next year, and I hope they do.
They are truly grassroots right now.
Yeah.
It is a gentleman who saved his life, so he's paying it forward, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There needs to be a little more capacity building in order for them to handle a federal grant, is really what I don't think. A lot of times I don't think agencies realize that when they're applying, because the city's giving it to them, but it's really federal requirements that you have to
You're right,
maintain,
right.
and they're just above a micro enterprise. I would have suggested them applying for micro enterprise assistance, but there's 7 members, so they're just over the limit for that is 5. So they're very small, even though they don't fit the federal requirement of that small enterprise. So there's work and collaboration to be done for them for sure.
Okay.
Right. I did notice that I believe just today, Lamont announced that there is another funding cycle, a new funding cycle that came out that can actually assist with low income areas, but it also can provide income to or funds to low income and startup companies as well too. And so I'll be glad to just forward that press release to you, which actually gets quite in depth, Sydney, and you can pass it on to them. There may be something there that they could actually work with regards to funding for a startup. Something that could apply to them that might work.
Perfect, Gemma. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Any other Cs? Okay, Let's go ahead and go up to number 2, children in placement, and we'll just go through the grading process. How about, children in placement, starting at bottom? Gemma, you got a grade for that one?
I think that would be an A.
8, okay. And Angela? 8. Sean? 8. Mark? Larry? 8. Okay, so if we can, that,
I was just wondering, since we knock out like 3 or 4, how much, if we subtract those amounts, how much do we have to play with?
well, right now, we're just doing some grading.
Okay.
You know, that
We
we have
haven't
an idea.
really allocated any funds.
Right. So right now, we're, you know, an A, it looks like everybody is really an A, so that one most likely. Yeah, so we'll go through and do all the grading, then we'll come in and come back and put numbers associated with all the A's. And that's where we get the B's and C's coming in. So
So
we'll
my
have most
curiosity
of
was
everything
more of those.
filled out with just a piece left, but we're.
Right.
Right now, there's a request for 1.4 million between all of the original applications.
806,000.
Correct, so
Yeah.
let's fund our A's and we'll move from there.
So, next one down is Norwich Human Services, Norwich Works, and let's start on the other end of this one, Larry. What's this? This is Norwich Human Services, Norwich Works for 70,000.
Job training.
Yep. Okay. And working backwards, Mark.
A.
Sean. A. Angela. A. And Gemma.
That'd be an A.
A. Okay. Great. Immigration advocacy support. Start right in the middle. Sean, immigration advocacy support.
So either A plus.
A plus.
Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's a strong argument.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Mark?
That's an A.
A. Larry? A. Angela? Gemma?
A, sorry about that. A.
No problem.
Okay. In that regard, I'm sorry, talk about, I wish they could ask for more. But I know that all the,
Yeah.
not about next
Don't-
year
don't-
or the future,
don't-
I know,
that's not-
this is my
I
personal.
think we certainly put the thought in their head for next year.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I think children.
Okay.
A plus.
Okay, Three Rivers Community Food Pantry, that is no longer on the table. PVCCA paintless prevention. How about Angela, you want to start that one? A. Sean? A. Mark?
A.
Larry? A. Gemma?
A.
Okay. Madonna Place, Cope, walk-in assistance over at Madonna Place, 15,000. How about Gemma, you want to start that one?
Sure. A.
A. Angela?
A.
Sean?
I give it a B, A minus.
Okay.
Because it's a new venture, there's no, it's no. I'm not sure it's gonna, it's a great program, but I'm not sure what the results are gonna be.
Okay,
It's, so that's why I'm a little leery, so I give it a B.
B. Okay. And Mark? A. A. And Larry?
Which one is this, Madonna?
Yeah.
You just tell me, I forget, what was that briefly about?
That's sort of, it's the services that they provide, only it's more based around walk-in service instead of appointments. So that they can immediately take action, start helping them.
Here in Norwich, all Norwich?
Yeah, Madonna, yeah, Well, it's a regional organization, but most of their clients are Norwich based.
They're walking.
Right.
They actually have, Mark, they actually have doors now open, right there in downtown Norwich, and this is new for them. So they have a much more visible downtown presence now,
Well,
with signs, and they've got a corner facility there, so you can see it from both sides, and they provide services to, new mothers in terms of parenting, as well too. And also, they've started a program on fathers to support, new fathers, give them, advice and coaching and also supplies and things like that they may need to just be a better new parent if they haven't had this, growing up.
So they are, like Gemma said, they're on the corner. They used to have a small door open on Franklin, which is next to the bus stop.
Right.
And that was prior management's decision to influence different kind of flow into the office. So Claire has made it that they are open on Main Street, that their doors open, facing frontward where most of the traffic is, so that people can find them easily. And I don't know if it helps, we did fund this last year, so this is the second year of this program. I think the new program was that they were additionally partnering with Safe Futures, correct? For the 9-year.
You funded them with COVID.
Oh, okay, so we funded them prior, thank you, Tam, we did fund them prior, not in 2022, but with our COVID funding.
Oh,
That's what this program did start already, and it's maintaining or expanding the service that we did start. Because it's assumed that you would see new people with the service. They're not that they're triaging these same people over and over and over again.
yeah, I'm just saying, reason why I say B is that it's a new venture. Although they've been around for quite a while.
Sure.
I kind of get it. It seems very easy where to walk in and get help. But if we kind of money wise, I think
We'll get to
we
the
have
money
to
side.
distribute a
Sure.
little different, not the whole.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm
I was
saying.
just providing more
Yeah,
information. I
Yeah,
wasn't
and
challenging.
our
Yeah.
next,
Yeah.
our next step in the deliberations, we'll come back to that one and talk about specific funding.
Sorry.
So, okay, Safe Futures, this is the advocacy for. All that. We funded these guys for a long time because they're one of the only court advocates that people have. So, let's start, Gemma, you want to start with that one? Safe Futures?
Sorry. Yes, A,
Hey.
please.
Angela. Hey. John. Hey. Mark.
Okay.
Larry. Hey. Okay, great. OIC of New London County. That was the one we gave them some funding last year, and she said basically started that program up for us. She was very, very happy about that. We gave them, I think, 15,000 last year. They're asking for quite a bit more. They've proven it's a good program and all that. So yes. Sounds good. So let's start, Larry, how about OIC of New London? Hey. Mark?
Hey.
Sean?
Hey.
Angela? Gemma?
A,
Okay. And let's go on down Norwich, Rosewood Manor exterior renovations. This is doing all the work around the buildings up there. 200,000 is what we're asking for. How about Sean? You want to start that one?
That's an A.
Okay. Mark?
Okay.
Can you give us,
Estimates.
They did give us some numbers based on just industry standard stuff that I know that should would be going out to bid. Yeah,
They have an architect in-house who does the soft costs and that planning for them.
Yeah.
And anything that they always ask for a portion, And they pay for all the soft costs themselves, and anything that runs over after our funding, they cover themselves.
And their numbers usually come in pretty good.
Yeah.
And they can spend money. They're really good at spending money. Very good.
Well, they're working on 50-year-old, 40-year-old.
Right.
They spend the money and the return to the residents is
Is phenomenal.
tenfold,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's,
Yeah, I mean.
they
if
do
you're gonna
really
grow
nice
old,
things.
why not,
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
go grow old in building in disrepair.
There was one neighborhood they brought me to, and I said, oh, my friends used to live there. I didn't realize these were your properties. He said, that's the point.
Right.
And I said,
right.
absolutely,
Yeah, it is.
absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so Larry, you said 8? Okay, Angela,
Sorry,
8, and Gemma,
A minus for that one.
A minus, okay. Futures Incorporated here.
We disqualified.
On there. CD property rehab, $250,000. Mark?
So I already know where this is going. We're right at the edge of,
But don't even
I'm
go
just
to the
gonna,
numbers.
this is
Just
the
concept.
this is the negotiation. Project. B plus A minus.
Okay, Sean?
I give it an
Okay, Angela? Gemma?
A.
And Larry? Okay, Thermos is not eligible, DPW sidewalks, from the public works sidewalks, well, we've already done that.
That is your
that's
project.
it.
What's that?
That's the project.
That's it?
Mhm.
Right, okay, so let's go back up to the very top if we could and start putting in numbers, so the very, community development office and community development office administration, if we can go up there and put the number in there.
It's
for
in
council.
That's what we
161.
requested, if that's what.
Yeah, well, it's 20%, that's usually pretty much, because you're not funded by any city money, so we usually don't question the 20%. So I think that's pretty much good.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, that would be an A. For me, it's kind of obvious.
Yeah, I guess I should have asked for grades, but I didn't, sorry about that, but yeah, no, it's, I always figure that's sort of a given, because that's the only money that comes into that office, so. Okay.
Right,
so-
exactly.
Okay, so if we can put in the column, E column, 161, 255, 20,
Oh,
yeah.
you can ignore this column. I put it in here already.
That's for the council.
Oh,
recommendation. You guys are the.
Yeah, I was just keeping your letters over here. So anything right here
Okay,
that
so-
you gave
so,
an A to,
Okay, let's go down one by one, so
Yep.
anticipated,
I can delete them if you
no,
want.
that's fine,
Okay, anything you gave an A to, I filled it in at the
Okay,
full amount.
okay,
Anything less than everyone giving an A, I left blank.
okay,
So-
so what's our
Sure.
totals right now?
Okay,
That- yeah, 'cause
so
that's-
we have a total of $168,000 in public service and $161,255 in CD admin, which leaves us $477,020.80 for Madonna Place, Rosewood Manor, and property rehab, assuming none of the others change. Of the
Red
A's.
out left. cycles.
Hold on, one more time.
Sure,
477.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay,
For some context.
Yep.
You have $48,000 left that you can give to public services,
48.
$48,000
And we have,
for public services.
and the only one that we have left.
But
on
the
public
only
services
request is
was
15.
the Madonna place.
which is at $15,000.
Right, and now that was out of the grades on that, we had, what, four or five A's and one B.
Exactly.
So I think that sort of fell into the fully funded
I think so.
number.
Well, I would hope so.
So let's.
Yes.
I would agree with Les, fully funding that one.
Okay, so that brings us to $183,000 of public service, which falls under the cap.
on the medical.
And this is
Or
the
is-
amount of funding that hasn't been allocated.
Okay, so we have $462,000, and the only two left that we haven't talked about is the CD property rehab and the DPW Taftville sidewalks.
That would.
And Rosewood Manor, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we would have a balance of 12,020. Which
So-
we would give to Taftville sidewalks, but that's like a serious slap.
Yeah.
Which they sort of. The way that they have approached, I know that they sent a nice letter across. And addressed everything but the cost.
Yeah. Exactly, and they can't do anything with like just a small amount. I have to interject to just
No,
say, ask one quick question. If we fund fully NHA, Rosewood Manor, and we fund fully CD property rehab, could we give the remainder to administration for you, Sydney?
No, because it is a 20% cap, unfortunately,
Got it.
already hit with our request.
I
But
mean,
thank you.
But thank you. Yeah, but we appreciate that thought.
One thing just to throw out there is historically, Norwich Housing Authority always asks for money. They usually ask for anywhere from 10 to 15% of our money. And most of the time, we end up giving them less. And every time they complete the job.
With section
With less
3
money.
full audit packets, they brought them to us ahead of time this year.
So knowing that they're able to do more with less than, or at least what they say they're gonna do with less funding, that's historically been proven by the time.
Still,
So if we drop them a little bit, most likely they would still get the job done.
and I agree a little bit. And I agree a little bit on property rehabilitation. But it still doesn't, you're still, because of the whopping request from DPW of $480,000, you're still gonna be giving, you're gonna get them maybe 20% of their request. And again,
The problem is that we don't know what DPW could do for any amount, for any amount of money. I mean, if they just provided a dollar amount with that drop down request that they, suggested work plan that they outlined in their recent submission, then it would be easier for us to deliberate and give them something.
Yeah.
But you don't want to give them something and then have them say, well, this is not enough for us to do anything with, and just kind of give it back.
Thought is to fund 11 less to actually have more for 15. I think. Get to a meaningful.
Oh, it is, it is. And
Unfortunately, the way it's packaged, yeah.
the DPW sidewalks, if they're gonna concentrate on 2B, that street, they could start at one end and just work up until they run out of money. Because they've always phased that kind of stuff in. So if we dropped it down to 80,000 or 100,000, they could do a certain amount of properties
Yeah.
and stop like they always do.
Yeah,
And then pick up the next year and
that would be a
Tell
reduction
them-
of 11 at how much you find you bought.
well, it depends on how much we'd want to give Rosewood. Like I said, Rosewood, historically, they've been able to do everything with less money than they've asked.
50,000 less,
what did they spend on
50,000.
roofs last year?
It was a two-phased approach. They spent 150 and two, so 300,000, but 150 last year for the roof. Got it.
And their ask was last year?
150, I believe. Let me
I
pull
think
it
so,
up.
yeah.
I have that.
I mean,
Yes, they were fully funded at 150 last year.
And they spent all of the 100.
Correct. They're on track to spend. They've already given us all the packets and papers.
Yeah.
It's just the construction aspect now.
Exactly, they're finishing.
Correct.
So I guess one question that should be put in the mix is, what is the most impacted community?
I was also thinking about, for the sidewalk, right? One of the biggest concern, I think, when I saw the photos is transition from the sidewalk to the road. And with people with wheelchairs, I think that's gonna be an issue. How about using that funding for that transition? From the sidewalk to the street?
Right, well, we
I
can't
don't think
we don't get to
can't
tell
get
them what
that.
to do.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Oh,
It'd be great if they were promoting. Try it.
it was amazing. Thought it was some kind of apron or something like that.
Well, they're talking about that, but it's a package, you don't wanna have a really bad sidewalk on both sides. of it, and have a really nice apron. That's what it is. Right. So I think, what is the most impacting, would it be Rosewood Manor or would it be the sidewalk for the
No.
community? What's that?
Senior,
Yeah, that's
senior
more-
citizens that are low and lower income.
Yeah, so it's bigger impact, better for the community to go with something.
It hits our affordable housing goals.
Absolutely.
It also deals with housing cost burden because a lot of their energy efficiency improvements reduce the electric bills for their tenants. When we have at least 50% of our renters in Norwich are housing cost burden. Mhm. Creates a suitable living environment, it inadvertently hits 2 of our 3 goals.
So we could probably convince ourselves to fully fund. And, okay, let's put 200,000
Spend 12,000.
just to see how may still come back and talk about it. Okay, and,
So that'd be property rehabilitation things that. Again,
well, yeah, that's why, what's that?
Sold anymore.
Yeah,
if you're gonna give DPW any money, then that's that's the place where that's the one spot we have negotiation.
it is sidewalk.
Sidewalks and CD rehabilitation.
Right, and we need to remember, well, this is Sydney's first year, but in the past, a lot of times, if we needed anything, we always,
We always. work
Kathy
on
always
them.
pulled it out of her money. And
Exactly.
we've had a habit of doing that, and
I know.
we shouldn't continue to do that every year.
I,
Once in a while, we ought to give them what they have scored. Because it is great, so I think, because in the past, the community development directors, a lot of, you can drop them by 50,000, that's okay. So I think we ought to,
Well,
once-
I also, from a non-partial standpoint, I don't want you to worry about our ability to administer the program. We do have funding from other years. I'm very confident in my staff's ability to maneuver with what we have. And if it means that low-income people in the area benefit, that is the point. of the fund.
I think those.
So I'm saying it's not personal to me. It's
I know.
not, oh, Sydney does a good job, so we're not gonna cut our program. Please take me out of the
I mean,
situation.
overall, we really weren't very confident as a whole. We don't need to have a huge massive effort to work it out.
right, I agree.
Yeah, I'm a side worker. I mean,
Well, then it's nice that they're putting that plan together, so,
Yeah.
and that'll sort of help motivate them to get it done, so they can really do an overall thing and say, like, give us a better present idea, or the planning commission, a better idea of what their plan is on sidewalks. We got a lot of sidewalks.
yeah.
it was nice
A
that
lot.
they said they would hire an intern.
They had, yeah, well, and that was driven, because last year we asked for that, we asked for.
We asked for it this year too.
But last year, but they
Yeah.
made it on, they worked on that, so I think that's good that they are doing what we're asking, and if it helps them too. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like they're kind of.
And that's assuming these are accurate.
So if we go CD property rehab at 250,000. Let's plug that in and see how it looks.
Looks like 12,028.
Okay,
Are you a psychic, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
what's that?
Yes, Mark, if he was a
Agnes
psychic.
Franken.
So. Do we wanna,
And
Nick,
it has to go,
It has to go in non-public
no, I think we have enough.
Just
room
to a
in public
qualified
or not.
activity.
anyway.
Correct.
we should,
Because we're
As
under
long
our
as it's-
service caps.
Right.
You could fund public
Unless it's one of the
services.
red
that you
ones.
moved
There's
out,
only
yeah.
one public service that we didn't claim, which was,
Red.
lefties, right?
Oh, no, it's the food pantry because they didn't qualify.
Oh, we didn't,
So what
Oh.
happens if you don't have anything else?
then I,
We could recapture the funding, which it's a small amount of funding. It would mean we would take it for next year. You could fund Lefty Cycle. They weren't ineligible. It was just our questions of if they had the capacity to administer the funding, which if they didn't, we would still recapture that funding next year. Unfortunately, because of the way the contracts are written, we're not supposed to add to people's requests, which is unfortunate. Certainly.
So it really comes down to that one. Number 9.
yeah, yeah, it's hard, nickels and dimes apart. Yeah, right, what do you guys think?
Other information that might help you is public service funding, we lose if we do not spend. Non-public service funding, your bottom group there, construction projects can roll from year to year. So say you did give DPW the 12,000, they could come back with a stronger application next year to compound their funding or to request. They've done that in the past. Columbus Park, we've seen twice. Tap the walking track, we've seen 3 times now. It's something that they're familiar with.
Yeah, that sounds good. Put it with DPW. Sidewalks. They're gonna be shocked
Just an
when they see that
option.
small number.
they're,
Out there, those guys.
you got the leftovers.
But I see the logic in why
It's an
a
option.
committee would make that
Sure.
decision, because you're saying the other way would be.
Sure.
You fight with it.
Um,
You can't.
So here's the thing, you can cut Norwich Housing Authority and us, right, and give DPW more money, but if DPW doesn't spend the money, then no one spends the money and we have to recapture 80,000 instead of 12,000. I don't know if that answered what you
Well,
just
no, I guess
asked.
you have to assign this last bit 12 up.
Correct.
You can't do something to carry that over as of right now.
We would have to open up the application period again and re-advertise to take in more applications for that amount.
That's all.
That's true. Yes, thank you. No, you're correct. That's important.
Gotcha.
If it was unallocated, we would basically say that we didn't have enough applications to allocate the last. And so we would request again.
Sorry.
So then I see,
And-
yeah, that's fair.
And if we look
Well,
at
now,
how,
thinking about that,
and if we look at how we graded. Half those sidewalks.
yeah, exactly.
So feel guilty about not giving them that, it'd be nice to give them, but I think that option of give them what's left and then we can add to it next year. They may have something that they. do. But then they're already gonna be doing the Columbus Park, that whole area up on.
Yeah.
Columbus Park. so
And
they're
for
already-
much less than they asked for.
Yeah, well, yeah, the first time they came in, they asked for a certain amount, and then the bid was way too high, so then they asked for it again at the higher bid, and now it's came in much lower. So it's just all over the place, so.
Instead of
Well, so
Only
maybe
from
they didn't go with an
Columbus and
FA
put it
style
in.
fence.
these Columbus and
Well, they don't have a
CD.
choice, they have to stay with what the project requested. So they
Well,
can't change it
But
afterwards, and
they didn't have a specific style of fence.
that's what they did, we locked them in. So,
Did they?
Yeah, we are, yeah. So that project is on the go, like you said, they're gonna start within a couple of weeks. That's
We'll
what
get a chance to see what they're doing.
right.
Try that. See, probably we have one, yeah.
CD property rehab, we give the money to basically back to the development office. And they have another committee that does property rehab, if somebody comes in and is looking to do any kind of rehab in their property, like heating system or lead is attached to it. Windows, roofs, something like that, and they can apply for it. It's a 0% loan. So they return it over a certain amount of years, so it's money they will get to reset.
Also, if they're
So
out of compliance,
that's
out
what
of
it's
code.
like.
Code
Fix.
compliance, absolutely.
Whatever.
So if somebody needs to go backwards because it's such a long.
No,
That's not
they-
part of
they
it.
can't.
Historically, the ones that come to the property rehab committee are people that may not be bankrupt. That happens. Or maybe a very elderly, I don't know, there's all sorts of different reasons.
I apologize, why
No,
wasn't
we were just talking
following.
about property.
Oh, as
Yeah,
far as
who
the
comes?
loans go,
Right. Yeah.
yes, the loan, we don't check credit when they run that program. So it allows folks who would typically be barred from a formal loan to have the opportunity to maintain their homes. We do check extensive income for tenants. If it's an investor, we check the income of the tenants, not the investor, to make sure that the tenants are benefiting. And if it is someone who lives in their home, we extensively check their income to make sure that they're low and moderate income. If they are above 80% of the median income, which is what HUD guidelines is, we can't fund them with our program. So we make sure that goes to those most in need.
Okay.
So if, on a different note, if we do fund, give the 12,000 to the sidewalk. Do they have to come back with a proposal that says the 12,000, this is what we're gonna be doing with the 12,000? Or they gonna just work and then give you guys receipts and say, okay, this is what we actually spent, here's the receipts.
So two things could happen. They could proceed with their project with 12,000 and say that they were going to pay for the rest and get what they could done with our 12,000 and bill us for 12,000. That's one way that could go. That would be ideal because the project still gets executed. CDBG funding is a portion of that project cost. And we don't have to retouch the funding or look at it next year. If they could also sign the contract for 12,000 and then sit on the money, to then come to our PY 50 application saying, we're asking for more money because we were insufficiently funded and not able to execute any portion of the project. So those are kind of the two ways it could go. I don't know how much money they would need specifically for South B Street or even a portion of South B Street.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an $80,000 project. I don't know if that's $50,000 or $150,000.
Or they may say, let's just go ahead and do the sidewalk. Or something like that.
Right,
You know,
they could, yeah.
to Say that's it.
When you look at their breakdown, we were looking at, $20,000 for traffic control alone. Now, is that accurate? I don't know. But if that's truly what it costs, they're gonna say, well, we can't even direct traffic around this project. We wouldn't do it. Now, is it $20,000 for the entire 400+ ask? Perhaps. That's why the budget is, we're wary of that budget.
You want to put it with?
Okay.
Not to-
I say-
You logicked it around enough. I
Okay.
can
Yeah.
feel.
I tried to present you with all your
Yes,
choices.
yes.
Okay, so if we put the 12,000, 20, 80 with
Low risk.
DPW. What do you want to push money?
Make a motion to accept the drain system.
Anybody else want to? Let's have the Gemma, you okay?
I would agree with, I'm okay, I'm following along and I really appreciate you all just figuring this out. It just makes a lot of sense to me. I would love it if, so I would agree absolutely with 100% with what is currently proposed on the spreadsheet. And I'd like DPW to recognize that, at least in my mind, what's preventing them from realizing greater funding is the lack of a budget. And specifically, cost associated with, specific area. At least, I mean, I would feel much more comfortable being able to allocate, maybe take a little bit away from something, give them a little more. If I knew exactly, how much it was going to cost for, yes, we can just do this one segment and this is what it's going to cost, a breakdown of traffic control, of curb and gutter, of cutting, of the lifts, of the impacts, of, whatever, just per foot, and this is X number of foot, so that you'd have a better idea. So that we knew that they could actually maximize, the funding that we were giving them, instead of just looking at it and going, well, we can't do anything, and then recouping it. But if we can recoup it and use it for, the next round, whenever that comes, then absolutely, it's not going to go to waste. I'm 100% behind, what the committee's decided. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Those are good results.
Okay, we entertain a motion. All right.
Make one to that, I feel like like $12,000.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
discussion.
Anything else? Any other comments? Motion?
Motion to accept grant proposal, grant allocations as
On that,
shown.
okay. We have a second? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Gentlemen?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so that was unanimous. With those, so can we, your spreadsheet, Ken,
Mhm.
if we can you send that out to us tomorrow? Take the grades off of it. That's an internal thing to us.
We
Mhm.
cannot, because tomorrow is Good Friday,
Okay, then.
but we could send it to you on Monday.
That's what we can do. We can wait that. Yeah.
Dan will say yes to you no matter what. I know. Dan's a yes
We
no.
take the grades off, because all that's gonna do is confuse. them.
Yep.
And then they want criteria and written criteria and prove it. And
Oh,
Joanne would
good
have
point.
all of that.
Oh, this definitely is not, yeah.
So we should say it like that.
You're on the record.
What's that?
We're on the record.
Thank you.
Okay. You need to strike it from the record.
I'm gonna tell her.
You didn't say which one. There's lots of them.
Right. First name. Anyways, let's
I
proceed.
know there's lots of.
Let's proceed.
Okay,
Like
so,
fabrics.
yeah, if you could send that out to us on Monday, that would be great.
Absolutely.
And then, I think we're all set. So that pretty well does our deliberations. So the next steps and what we need to do is sometime between now and whenever, look at the citizen participation plan and do some administrative housekeeping
Yes.
before the next cycle or before anything comes up. So I don't know how you wanna.
So, I'm gonna give you all a break. For sure.
Yeah.
And we appreciate, not her, no, she stays. But, again, as I said, when we started the process, we really appreciate the time and the grit that you guys spent in the last 2 weeks. And don't want to push our luck, so to say. So,
We have energy on it too.
I still think we
So-
gotta save this 12,000. and Open. Make that applications again.
we are still on the record, Mr. Marcy.
Yeah.
Maybe I.
So next steps here, we won't meet again in April. This next week is crunch time before I have to go to Seattle for a week. And then, so what I'll be doing in the office for the next month, 20 days, is writing the action plan. So now that you have made your decisions, we put it into the full report of how what you selected aligns with our goals and how we're getting where we need to be based on your decisions. Once that is ready, which I'm hoping to have done by May 9th, it will be sent with your budget to the public for a 30-day comment period before it goes to the council where they ratify both. They'll ratify the budget and the action plan, or they won't agree and they will move money around. Typically, we hope for them to stamp approval and move on.
Historically, that's what.
Typically, they do that. And so that public hearing, we are anticipating for July 3rd. So I was thinking we could meet in August or late July. Once things calm down a little bit more, if that works with your schedules at all. The program year does not end until August 31st. Even so, if we rolled into the next program year, PY 49, to make our changes, we could still do that.
Yep.
And I can certainly put together kind of like a rundown of what we should look at in that plan. I did give you guys all a copy of it if you want to review it, and if there's anything that sticks out to you guys, I'd love to hear that as well. And I will save your time today discussing that further.
The only thing I would say is the end of July would probably be better, just balancing other jobs. In
Okay,
August already,
sure.
in general, it's getting prepared for fall, so I'd be willing to plan
Yeah,
to
okay.
the end of July.
How
It's
does everyone's
personally
schedules look
quieter,
for that? Yeah, so Angela would prefer end of July. Are there any other preferences with your day-to-days that we should be considerate of?
This far in advance.
Okay.
No, I'm not looking to be
Yeah, okay.
long-term
Yeah. Okay,
Just out of curiosity, when are they gonna be, when are they gonna actually?
So one, the council approves it, we send it off to HUD, who then has to also approve it. One other piece of this while we're waiting is I have to do the environmental reviews. So we will not get funded until we have full environmentals for all the projects that HUD approves as well. Once they have that in hand, they will release our funds.
And
So-
that's about when that is.
Typically, it's
This year it
August,
was
September.
January.
This year it was January. So, there was a little oversight with our funding this year. I think with the transfer of positions and just different things happening, they gave us approval for our line of credit, but didn't release it to us. So they thought they'd done it and they didn't. So after 5-6 emails from me, they finally reviewed it and said, oops, which was great. It's fine. I don't care how we get it as long as we get it. So we have it now. It's getting pushed out as best we can. Once city council ratifies it, we write contracts and do environmentals. Once signed contracts are there, environmentals are approved and we have the HUD okay, then folks, even if we don't have the line of credit by September 1st, we tell folks to keep their receipts. So anything September 1st and on, we can reimburse them for. So often agencies pay out of pocket for things and then we pay them back, so to say, with CDBG. So they're not told to stop their programs and wait for us. They're told to start September 1st. And for many of our reoccurs, they just continue.
Leanne, I think,
if,
too good with. So.
He's jealous, is what he's
Oh.
trying to say.
everybody.
I'm
else-
like, still on the record. I will reiterate again.
Thank you.
You're still on the record.
Jealous of
Just
your-
broke me out of my concentration there.
Jealous of your Excel.
So we
Why,
have,
thank you.
how many vacancies are still on the committee?
One,
One,
we do have an applicant in the chamber for that.
okay. good.
That being said, she has not been interviewed, so if you know people who you think would like to take that 7th seat, it is still open for application. And you can refer them to me, I can get them that information, but it is on public, it is open to the public through the city website.
And if anybody's gonna expire, I don't, think it's gonna expire this year, all of us.
No, I
No.
think you all were expired, so you are
Right.
now up for two years
No,
because
we're not.
I think it's a
You-
1 year,
Gemma and I are 1 year
1 year, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I can get that for you right now.
Yeah,
There was a
yeah, let's
letter
take
that
a look
came
at it,
out.
just to-
Did everyone do their ethics with
I think I did that
the
with
city manager?
I need to go back.
Just check with her if you think you
Yeah.
didn't. She'll tell you if you do or not, if she has it. Okay. EDAC. They got, they haven't updated the page.
Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully everybody here will stay on the committee. next
Everyone's
year.
still expired,
hope
I
right?
have the resolution. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, no, we would like everybody to stay on the committee if you would like to do really. Like that instead of trying to rebuild, I'm sure Cindy would not like that. trying to rebuild it
That
again.
was a fun surprise this
Yeah,
year to
yeah,
have to
so-
do.
So if everybody's
but
on it.
it made us
then I'm cool
stronger.
with it. That'd be great.
But I don't know how it's gonna work, in my case, if I'm gonna be applying for,
If you apply, you need to resign.
Yeah.
That's already been through corporate council. So if you are gonna be an applicant, that's. can't do it.
And to explain that a little more, you have to formally recuse yourself with a wet signature to the clerk in order to resign. That starts your 12 months that you have to wait before you can apply. So if you were to
Always done
resign
that, sure.
tomorrow, then you would have to wait 12 months. So you would miss the PY 50 application, you would apply on the 51.
Which would be January.
Which you're welcome to do, but I just want you to know
Yeah,
what that
I
timeline
won't,
looks
I
like.
won't. It's just- Yeah, I'll apply for all the, but
And
Anything
let me
else?
know about that kind of stuff, because I get that information from the city as well, from
Mm.
just other departments. So if there's specifically things you're trying to get off the ground, maybe CD money can't help, but maybe there's other funding like Angela and Gemma we're bringing up.
yeah. Oh, there's, yeah, there's a lot of federal funding out there right now. So.
Okay. Anybody else have anything at all? Set?
Motion to adjourn.
Hey, thank you, everybody. Thank you for spending the time doing it. Been great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.